Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Player of the Fan. I am yours truly, David Noel, the player, the coach, and we are joined by the beautiful Miss Quierra. Look. You see my, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Quierra, what's happening?
Hey, David. Welcome to the day after a much needed, even though it's a little streak going on, but this was a different type of win. So welcome to the day after. Oh, Jesus. Welcome to the day after.
Why was it a different type of win, Quierra? Why was it a different type of win? Please elaborate.
Personally, they look happier. They look more confident. They looked more efficient. They looked, their body language is a little different. Garrison was definitely more active. You know, there was a 16-point Garrison, a double Garrison. Yeah, it was just different. Okay. Defense was a little better.
A preseason ACC Player of the Year, Garrison.
So I just think it was a little better of a game to me.
And you're right. You're right. They absolutely look better yesterday than they had in the past. And guess what? They put up some points yesterday. They also got some fast break points yesterday. Guess what? You want to know why they look so good?
No.
Because Syracuse plays a zone.
That's it. You know what? And a lot of people were concerned about that, but apparently it didn't have any impact.
No.
Yeah.
For North Carolina is going to eat your zone up every single time.
Now they didn't eat it up in the ACC tournament. Hold on now.
Trust me. North Carolina is going to eat your zone up every single time. No matter who plays zone against North Carolina, and especially if they can prepare for it like they do with Syracuse every single year.
Not with the ACC tournament.
North Carolina is one of the best teams against the zone. This is when the two big lineup makes the most sense. I had no fear in this game.
So, what happened last year at the ACC tournament?
What are you talking about last year? Why are you always bringing up old stuff?
I'm just saying.
How many times have we beat Syracuse?
I'm just a lot.
So that's my point. Yeah, that's like bringing up NC State. Like just because they win one every now and then doesn't mean that y'all are relevant. And in this particular sentence, and I'm not saying Syracuse is not relevant. Syracuse is very, very good. But when it comes to playing North Carolina, when it comes to playing a zone against North Carolina, that is the best thing that can happen to North Carolina. If you play them man-to-man, you got a much heck of a chance of winning versus playing a zone against North Carolina.
Well, some notes from last night. This will be Carolina's 1,000th regular season conference game. And the 708 wins are also the most in ACC history, regular season games.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought that was a really good feat. And to take note, Carolina is 14-5 against Syracuse, winning 10 of the last 11 games. So, yeah.
So do you see my point?
I do, but I'm just saying they beat them pretty bad at the ACC tournament. So
a steak a trash can get a steak every now and then. Well, ain't that the
same? What did Shamar?
He said, yeah. Shamar be having them isms, bro. Don't nobody be knowing what Shamar be talking about.
There's even a steak behind Ruth Chris. Wait, there's a steak even in the Ruth Chris garbage can.
Yeah. There you go. And for the ACC tournament, that was Syracuse. But again, mind you, Syracuse is always good. I just think Syracuse is the perfect matchup for North Carolina when it comes to North Carolina needing confidence.
Yeah.
Needing energy, needing to play a game that we very much gonna say, hey, this is the one that can turn our season around.
Yeah.
Because this on the 3-game winning streak?
Yeah.
Yeah, in conference too.
Mm-hmm.
So and even though again we still allow guards to kill us like a mug, but I felt like our energy was there last night. I felt like guys that needed to step up, stepped up. and we continue to dominate the backboards. We shot well from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Still some tragedy from three. And we're my point. I think here's the thing. I don't mind us shooting 5. I don't mind us. Let me back up. We need to shoot less threes.
Yeah.
And if our threes are gonna come from somebody, so again, I know Leaky, he jumped out there in the Miami game and he went 4 for 4. But last night it was the shot selection from our guards that I think kind of was, the question at hand. But again, like the shots that came last night, they were more open than they would be in a man-to-man or in our freelance offense that we run against a man-to-man in the half court. So these, we were setting flare screens, trying to get the ball to the high post, swing, make the zone move. Guys are open, we let it fly. I don't mind the shots to a certain degree. But sometimes it's best to turn down those shots or pump fake, try to drive for certain guys. And Leaky is one of those guys. But again, want to continue to build his confidence for sure. But at the end of the day, too, we also have to understand, all right, if we're going to shoot 24 threes, maybe 1 or 2 should come from Leaky. Maybe 1 or 2 should come from Caleb right now because he really can't find his shot. Maybe 1 or 2 comes from Garrison because he needs to step out and prove that he can shoot it. But then the rest of them, they need to come from Kerwin. They need to come from RJ. They need to come from Puff when he's in the game. And Puff doesn't need to come in the game and only think he needs to shoot threes too.
Yeah.
So that's another deal. So I don't know. But I think last night game, and again, we scored 81 points.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the last time that North Carolina scored 80 points.
Against Iowa.
Yeah. So again, and that was a fast up-tempo game.
Yeah.
And how many games ago was that? That was what, 7-8 games ago?
Yeah.
So again, for North Carolina, again, I felt like this was the perfect team for North Carolina to play in order for us to continue to gain confidence, and hopefully this will snowball into what it didn't last year as far as win after win after win.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the Iowa game was December 8th, so a whole month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, this is the first game in the last couple of games that Carolina has won the game shooting over 35%. Granted, it was only 40, but still over
we'll take
35%. Yeah. The win by the numbers, North Carolina defeated Syracuse last night on Tuesday night, January 12th. 81-75, their first 80-point game since Iowa, December 8th of 2020. Garrison Brooks had 16 points, 10 rebounds, his first double-double of the season, I believe, in mid-January. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Armando Bacot finished with 15 points and 12 rebounds. Yeah, so he had a double-double as well. So, pretty solid game from the bigs. And Kerwin Walton had 9 points. But the star of the night, even though he only had 5 points, was Leaky Black. Leaky also had 7 assists, which was a career high for him, and 4 rebounds. But listen, I'm trying to tell you what the press
I'm listening. My antennas is up because
I mean, a lot of people were really they just really liked how Leaky kind of shut down Boeheim in the second half, I believe.
It was definitely the second half because ain't no way he couldn't shut him down in the first.
Not at all. Boeheim had 0 points in the second half. So defensively, Leaky was what was talked about and how much he shut down Boeheim and how efficient he was. And there was even some conversation about, should Leaky be running the point going forward? Because he is a natural point guard. That's what he played coming into Carolina. Then he was shifted to the wing. So there's been a little conversation there. Should Leaky?
And I think we had this conversation before.
We did. I don't remember it. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't remember the podcast. But
we had this conversation before. Should Leaky go to the point guard? And my answer is still the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. North Carolina runs a freelance offense. So eventually the ball will swing to whoever gives it up. like as the point guard. So if you want Leaky setting the back screen to pop out to get the shot, or if you want him bringing the ball up the court, there's really no difference in what we do. My thing with Leaky last night was I do agree with you. I absolutely agree with you that he was big in the second half as far as his defense was concerned. But in the first half, he was getting his butt torched. The whole team was. And then when Leaky was shutting down Boeheim, Quincy started getting going. So like and that's another problem with North Carolina in the two big lineup as well. You have guys like Garrison Brooks guarding Guerrier. Like that's a mismatch all day. So defensively, although we can say Leaky stepped up in the second half and was able to kind of turn off that faucet that Boeheim had going, because at one point I think Boeheim went off for like 9 straight. Yeah, and he started talking. He was talking big stuff too. Said they can't guard me. But then, so again, definitely appreciate, Leaky stepping up in the second half. But to call him like the unsung hero or the star of the game for this particular one, I don't know.
Who's your star of the game then?
RJ Davis.
Oh, so RJ Davis finished with 12 points and had no turnovers, 1 assist, 2 rebounds. So why is RJ Davis your player of the game?
RJ hit some timely shots yesterday. Timely. Game after game after game, he has continued to kind of get better at what he is doing. And so when you have a guy like RJ who came in as a shooter, everybody thought that RJ could shoot the basketball. Last night, he kind of proved it a little bit. So when you talk about an RJ Davis, and especially with the lack that we're getting from Caleb right now, I felt like that was more of a bigger spark than what Leaky did. And not to diminish what Leaky did. I'm not trying to do that at all. But I'm just telling you who I felt like impacted the game more from the standpoint of helping us kind of get over the hump, kind of help us, like, because again, Leaky did a heck of a job, especially in the second half with his defense. Because Boeheim went on a flare one time and took that one dribble pull up. Leaky beat that thing in the stands and started talking to him too. So I love the back and forth. I love the energy that we got from Leaky yesterday. I just think RJ played a little bit of a bigger role when it comes to like what North Carolina was able to do, especially offensively. And he did a decent job defensively too. Especially keeping Gerard kind of in check, because that boy can score the basketball. And I think they did a heck of a job keeping him in check.
So, speaking of RJ, do you, going forward, how do you want to see RJ's role develop with Carolina?
I think RJ is the perfect point guard for North Carolina. The only thing I would like to see him do a little bit better is possibly facilitate when it comes to man-to-man offense. And that's getting downhill, not necessarily always relying on the jump shot, but getting downhill, getting kickouts, making sure we're kicking out to the right people. I think that's kind of how his game will continue to grow. But I like RJ, and I like what he's doing for us. I think the piece when it comes to him and Caleb, because Caleb is so talented, and you want to believe that things are going to start to turn around for him. And if they do, North Carolina is going to be very, very scary going down the stretch. If Caleb can start making a couple shots here and there. Again, last night shot selection just wasn't great for North Carolina, but if Caleb can start to kind of find his way, get into his groove, get downhill, get fouled a little bit first, little stuff like that, get to the free throw line, open up the floor, make things easier for him. And also RJ continue to do what he did last night. Now North Carolina becomes the team that you thought they were going to be in the preseason versus the team that you're seeing right now. And even though North Carolina's on a 3-game win streak, they still have some improvement, but I like the trajectory that they're going right now.
Okay, and up next, well, is that all the win by the numbers? Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing
dominated the rebound.
Fast break points were 11. Yeah. Okay.
Up
So
from the two that we had against who? Wasn't it
whatever
two
game
against
that was.
Miami and like
Yeah.
one against Notre Dame? So yeah.
Next up, North Carolina plays Coach Ham and Florida State basketball, which I'm excited to see. I always enjoy watching.
Bro, speaking of, oh my goodness.
I know. I know. I was going to try and wait till later, but I get it. Express your grievance.
We lost Caleb Mills, man. And then here's my thing. Caleb Mills talking about he want to come home. And that joker went to Florida. He from North Carolina, dog, nabbit. But I'm happy for Coach Hamilton, though. Like, I'm happy for him. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Because, but and I'll say this too. I really did think that Caleb did fit North Carolina system. The reason why he's very crafty with the basketball. He's a playmaker, and he can create his own shot. So I think he would have fit. He is kind of Kobe-esque. And when it comes to that, and I'm not saying that he's Kobe White. Please don't like get out of that. But he can score at an efficient clip, as Kobe kind of did, you know, or did. Excuse me. He's a rung down from Kobe. He ain't Kobe, but it's kind of that type of game that he has for people who don't know who Caleb Mills is. But him going to Florida State, and I don't know if he's eligible to play right away. But
no, he'll have to play next season.
Okay, that's good. That's good, because I was gonna be nervous about that one.
So Florida State, actually they play tonight, and they play NC State. That's going to be a chef kiss of a game. That's going to be a good game. I'm kind of excited. They play.
Bro.
They're good this year. Coach Keith, they're good this year. They're good.
I don't know what it is about them.
They're 6-3. They've been playing very well. They did lose to Miami though, so technically the loss that we had to State doesn't count anymore. But that was only kind of the big game that was that a big game? But that was a game that they've lost. That's kind of significant to Miami. They only scored 59 points too.
Like here's the piece. I really feel like they could have lost a few more. Now they played well against Clemson. They came up short at Clemson, but like I really feel like they had 1, 2,
all of their games.
3, 4 games canceled, and the Louisville game was postponed. So honestly, if you throw that Louisville game in there, they probably would have lost that one.
Yeah.
I think honestly. And they beat us by 3. Now, mind you, that's a win is a win. I don't care about how many numbers it is, but I feel like they're still underachieving, bro. Like the talent that they got on that team, I feel like NC State should be in the top 5 of the ACC. Like that's just me personally, but I think they got a great coach in Keach, and I think they have like great talent, and a lot of those kids are from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense for them to play well against, you know, North Carolina, Duke, you know, those type of teams, because of course probably they wanted to go there and they just didn't for whatever reason, or they weren't recruited by them for whatever reason. But I feel like a team like NC State, they have all of the pieces that they need to be successful. And for whatever reason, they aren't necessarily reaching the bar. And again, that's me speaking. That's my expectations of what I feel like NC State should be. The only team NC State should lose to is us. But they beat us and then losing to everybody else.
Well, Florida State and NC State plays tonight at 6:30 on the ACC network. And
where is that game at? Is it in Tallahassee or is it in Raleigh?
It's in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Yeah. But Florida State has only lost one game. They've lost Clemson. I'm sorry, Clemson and UCF. Clemson and UCF. Yeah. So they only lost 2 games. So I'm excited to watch the game on Saturday, and I think it's going to be a really good game. And that's coming up next on Saturday at 12 p.m. Probably on it's probably on ACC Network or ESPN. So probably.
Do you think the ACC is down this year?
It's not exciting. I've thoroughly enjoyed been watching other teams play. I have, God darn it, I've enjoyed watching Gonzagas and your Iowas And your other teams, your Rutgers and your Michigans.
You see what happened when you open your palate to more than just ACC basketball.
I really have.
You see this?
Yes, I see it, David.
Yes. Speaking of, did you see what Michigan did to Wisconsin yesterday? Yes. Bro, a 36-3 run.
Yeah.
I think at one point it got like 40-6 or something like that. It was something crazy. Like, hey, Juwan Howard is doing this thing up there. I think Michigan, hey, this goes to show you, former players becoming coaches just might be a thing.
So if there was an aging coach that's about to be, we know he's about to be done, what school should look into hiring previous players that could use a good rebrand?
I think any school that has a guy that has kind of proven himself, and when we're talking about former players, they don't have to be at the stature of a Juwan Howard. They don't have to have multiple years, this longevity of a career in the NBA and things like that. Like we're talking about somebody who has really played the game, who understands it, who is at the level of being able to connect, to kind of bridge the gap between the old and the younger generation.
Yeah.
And I think that those are the guys that you go and find, because if you can bridge that gap between the older and the younger generation, then I think it makes it that much better, because I think that's what Juwan Howard is doing in Michigan. He's able to bridge that gap from way back with the Fab Five and to some of the younger generations that the coach previous before him, his name is slipping my mind for whatever reason, that he I don't know if he could have necessarily patched together. So when you bring in a guy like Juwan Howard, and the fact that he was this NBA kind of great, to bring that in, kids are attracted to that.
Yeah.
More kids want to try to get to the bag, as we talked about on the last podcast, because they dangle that thing in your face so quick. And so now kids want to jump at the possibility of being coached by somebody who played where they've played or where they want to play. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you see Juwan Howard getting some of the top kids out in the country. But then to put that together with and also they're old too. We have to be mindful of that. Like Michigan, the previous coach left behind a decent squad, and they had some transfers coming in. Old boy from Wake Forest came in. Mm-hmm. He's looking better now than he did at Wake Forest. You know what I'm saying? So, like those are some of the things that I think former players that have turned coaches can bring out of players, because we kind of understand it and we see it from a different lens than someone who may have not played the game but just been around it all their life.
So what you're saying is that I don't know, you may have said this before in previous podcasts, I'm not sure, but I think you did. So you're saying that experience in older players result to more stable and teams and winning games. Is that what you're saying? Is that what we're looking at? Because the ACC is fairly young. We have a lot of young players. Kentucky has a lot of young players, And when you look at, when I think about exciting basketball, there's players that have been there for years.
Yep.
So, interesting.
Okay. The best mixture is to have an old team that you can mix one and dones in with.
Yeah.
Or potential one and dones. I don't want to just call them one and done. Potential one and dones. So like let's think about it this way. If Kobe was still at North Carolina and Caleb was able to play behind him, Caleb looks 10 times better now.
Yeah.
But because he has to be thrown and thrusted into like this gauntlet right away, like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to kind of navigate that moment. And you can even go back to Kobe. If Kobe was able to play behind Joel Berry, like his understanding and what he would learn in practice from day to day, from learning from an older guy, and not necessarily the coaching staff, like learning from the older guy, you watching him do it in front of you, it kind of helps you navigate that landmine a little bit easier. So yes, the older you are in college basketball, I think the better. But to mix in talent, no matter what age they are, I think is always a plus. But to be able to kind of pull talent along slowly, because look at Kentucky right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a lot of talent, but they have no experience.
Yeah.
So, but now you take a Michigan who's mixed in some younger talent with some older guys. Now it just looks so much better. Your Gonzagas, your Baylors.
Yeah.
Even down to Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kansas is struggling a little bit right now, but they're able to hold steady because of the older guys that they have. Like, because their freshmen ain't playing as great either. So I think it's a testament to guys staying in school a little bit longer when it comes to winning like consistently.
Yeah. You know who, now that you mentioned Kentucky, I'm ready for their rebrand. I'm ready whenever Coach Cal decides to retire, whenever that is. I really think there's going to be a previous Kentucky player that's going to take over that role. And it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be amazing.
Mm.
I do.
I don't really know any, like, I can't think of any like Kentucky guys right now that are like in coaching that I can think of like right off. Like the first person that comes to mind is somebody like a Tayshaun Prince or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Somebody that's a little bit older. Maybe a Keith Bogans.
Mm-hmm.
He's there. Yeah, I don't really know.
What about I want to see Kemba at UConn.
Kemba Walker?
Yeah.
As the coach?
Yeah. No.
No, maybe. I just don't think that like you got mind you now. Coaching is
you're right.
A headache sometimes. So people, some people don't want that headache.
You're right.
Yeah, it ain't for everybody.
I'm gonna make a list of former players at different schools I want to see take over, and I think Kemba Walker would do good. I low key, I want Kyrie to just retire and open up his own little basketball thing. I really want him to take over Mamba Sports, to be honest with you, and just do that for the rest of his life.
Wow,
clearly,
so he can raise a bunch of ballers who think the world flat.
You know what? We're gonna move on. What was the next topic?
Bro, I'm just saying, I respect Kyrie. The crazy part about it is, like, I respect that. Like, knowing thyself and all that kind of stuff, energy and all that kind of stuff. I respect that. No question about it.
There's no way you can look at the universe and look at like shots from space and just think that it's just flat. That's anybody who think the Earth is flat. Like, how do you gather that? Like, because that means that there's something has to fall off, and nothing is falling off. We would see that. I don't know.
Right.
Before we head on to the NBA, we did have Virginia Tech that we wanted to discuss and what Mike Young is doing there. Virginia Tech defeated last night. Who did it?
Them bums.
They defeated them bums. They defeated Duke 74-67. And I don't think, in all honesty, Duke. No, they did. Did they? I don't think Duke led. They may have. I'm not gonna lie to you. They did leave in the first half. I can't say that. But it was a really good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
When you say it was a good game, like what do you mean?
I just
you like seeing them lose.
I like seeing Duke lose. The funny thing is that I hate putting an asterisk by people who win at Cameron, because when you don't have the Cameron crazies, that changes the whole experience at Duke. And
I don't care.
Oh God. But
I agree with you, but I don't care. Because it does change. It absolutely does change. Because when I say like Duke is a completely different team when the crazies are in the stands and all that kind of stuff. But guess what? Ain't nobody got their fans in the crowd pretty much all year.
Right.
So every atmosphere is different this year. So you got to go on the road, and you gotta play at home, and with nobody, or potentially with not as many fans as it used to be. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching Virginia Tech yesterday. And it's crazy because like we had a kid from Team Felton, Jalen Cone, who's been phenomenal for Virginia Tech. He's shooting the heck out of the ball from three. And me and my assistant coach with me at Team Felton was talking about him the other day, and he hit me and was like, bro, you remember that you said Jalen won't gonna make it? I said, boy, shut up. I said, shut up. I said, listen, with Jalen's work ethic, I knew that he was going to turn himself into a player that could compete at that level. When he initially committed to Virginia Tech and Mike Young took over, then he committed to Virginia Tech, I liked it. I didn't necessarily see them using him in this particular role because he can shoot the basketball, but he's a guy that also like was ball dominant in high school, but he was able to adapt his roles. So again, this is a perfect example of a kid who was highly talented out of high school, and he can come in, he can fit a role. Like Mike Young took the ball out of his hands, so now he's running off of double screens and coming off, catch and shoot, all that kind of stuff. So he's really completely changed his game from being a ball dominant guard, but he was a facilitator, he was a creator, to a guy that is really a shooter now. Right. And but can still also do the other stuff. So again, learning how to adapt your game to the college level that can potentially lead you to the NBA level, I think is one of the lost arts in the game, because I think kids nowadays think that their game is supposed to fit just like that right away. But for a kid like Jalen Cone, because I know him, like watching him work every single day, like at practice, and how diligent he was at some of the things that he did, like I saw this coming from a mile away. It might have been 2 miles. I ain't gonna say it was a mile
away. Well, up next, who does Virginia Tech play up next? Let me see. They play Wake Forest. That should be an easy win. Then they play Boston College. But I think Boston College, they played somebody the other day, and I was sitting here watching that game. Miami, and they beat Miami.
Yeah. They beat the foul
62. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat the foul Miami.
They really did.
For their first ACC win.
Yeah.
But they've been in every single game. For real, they should have beat Duke.
They didn't. They won in this Virginia game. They lost to Virginia 61-49.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a thumping, but
yeah, they have been in every game though. You're absolutely right. They're not too far off.
Yeah, they've been in pretty much. They should have beat Duke. Virginia, they got beat, but they didn't shoot the ball well. But as you can see, they came back and shot the heck out of the ball against Miami. The Louisville game was a good game. I think they kind of pulled away at the stretch because I seen that game. It was a decent game. And again, they lose to NC State by 3. So with the exact same score that they beat us with. That's crazy. But nonetheless, I think the ACC from top to bottom, like everybody's just okay. Like I think the top team could lose to the bottom team.
Yeah.
Like nobody's really that dominant.
Right.
And so what you'll see is I think you'll see a fluctuation for who will become like the number. Like for me it's Virginia Tech. And this is well, I'm leaning more towards Florida State, but the way Virginia Tech is playing right now, and again they play soon, I have to lean towards Virginia Tech. Like they got everything. Yeah. They got a big who can score. They got guards who are dogs. They got shooters. Like they got everything that they need to be successful and to win the ACC. So we'll see what happens with Virginia Tech. Mike Young is doing a heck of a job down there, which I mean it was expected honestly because of the job that he did at Wofford. Like it ain't no different. Like he's just taking it to honestly probably a little bit better talent. And when you that good at that level, definitely can translate to a higher level, so to speak.
Okay, well, moving on to the NBA, and I wanted to talk about COVID and how they're handling it and whether the NBA needs to pause their season. Nasir Little was former Carolina player 2 years ago. He recently just got over a really bad case of COVID-19. He talked about it in an interview. And he just started a couple of days ago, his first NBA game since his illness. But the NBA is trying to find ways to not pause the season due to COVID. But it's literally spiraling out of control to the point where there are not even enough players to play games because of either COVID or injuries. And we're only 9 games in, and there's already significant injuries and COVID-19 cases or protocols that they have to do. So what in the world is going on? And specifically, I want to bring up George Hill. Essentially, he said that he's a grown man. He's going to do what he want to do. At the end of the day, it is what it is. To me, that looks like a lack of responsibility and care for not only, yourself and your family, but also your colleagues. And if you don't want to be responsible, then I think players should opt out. If you feel like you're doing or you're not capable of following the rules to have a successful, safe, healthy season, then you need to opt out. And to me, opting out, you don't get paid this year either. I mean, you're right, because you have the choice. You're absolutely right. You have the definitive choice of doing what you want to do. But this is what I'm going to do as the coach, as the owner, as the league, as Adam Silver, whatever. You're not going to get paid, and you can just opt out. And you can come back whenever COVID's over, since you want to be reckless. That's what I think.
So, as I completely agree with you, I want to play devil's advocate.
No, of course you do.
Like especially with the George Hill comment, because I feel like people kind of took it a little bit. I don't think he provided enough context. I ain't gonna say people took it out of hand, because what he gave you definitely can chop away at. But I do think by him saying, I'm a grown man, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't think he was saying that maliciously. I don't think he was saying that like, yeah, I'm a grown man, I'm gonna go out here and get COVID and bring it back to everybody. I don't think he was saying that. But I do think he was saying, but man, listen, like, if we're gonna do this thing, like, I can be around my family. Don't tell me I can't be around my family. Don't tell me I can't, like, now mind you, if you wear a mask, if you wash your hands, they tell you all of that kind of stuff. Go ahead.
I want to do the whole George Hill quote so we can knock this down, because I think he kind of meant what he said. I don't know. This is the quote.
Go ahead.
I am a grown man. I'm going to do what I want to do. If I want to go see my family, I'm going to go see my family. They can't tell me I have to stay in my room 24/7. If it's that serious, then maybe we shouldn't be playing, but it's life. No one's going to be able to just cancel their whole life for this game. Included in, we want to play the same game, but I don't understand some of the rules. We can sweat 48 minutes with the guy next to us, but we can't talk to them afterwards. It makes no sense.
Right. So, like, if we can sweat with each other and we just play the whole game, but I can't come chat with you afterwards. I can't say what's good. Like, does that not make sense?
No, you're absolutely right.
Right. So, and in that statement, he said, I don't want to stay in my room 24/7. Who does? Like, who does want to stay in their room 24/7? You know what I'm saying? And again, that doesn't mean he out here being reckless. So again, you can go somewhere if you wear a mask. Why can't you go somewhere if you wear a mask? Yeah, isn't that the protocol?
Why can't you go somewhere?
So again, I understand that. And again, why can't he see his family? Like that's the part where I kind of understand. Now, mind you, I do understand that he is absolutely, like, he has to go and again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. He has to go and he has to be around his teammates and all that kind of stuff. But like his immediate family, now mind you, again, you can't have all your cousins at the crib and all that kind of stuff. Come on now, like when we say this, like, let's keep it in the context. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like he's talking about like having a big shindig at the crib. Ain't nobody got no mask on, and we just gonna be in there grooving. I don't think it's that. I think it is a case to where, like, yeah, some of the rules may need to be a little bit clearer, or just take these jokers back to a bubble. Like, and then if you want to opt out, now, but here's the piece. The reason that they played this NBA season was because, again, there's a bottom line. The North Carolina, I was going to say North Carolina. The NBA has lost so much money this year.
Yeah.
Behind COVID. Like, bro, I'm talking about millions on top of millions of dollars. Like, players are losing their salaries to a certain degree. You know, some jokers ain't getting hit like that. And 25 million versus 40 million ain't that big of a dang on difference. But at the end of the day, I will say you are correct. If George Hill does not want to play, or if he doesn't want to adhere to the rules that the NBA has set for, then absolutely you need to opt out. You absolutely. But the NBA also, I feel like, can't necessarily say you can't see your family. You can't see, like, because again, when they was in the bubble, they had 0 positive tests. They allow family members to come down and all that kind of stuff. Like, if that's the case, get these jokers tested personally on your own time. That way, you know, your inner circle is cool. But I don't feel like there's, so when he said that, I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, but I do also see how everybody can kind of chop it up when it comes to, you know, him, especially him saying, I'm a grown man, I'm gonna do what I want to. Everybody kind of took that as, oh, he's being negligent or whatever the case may be, where I just kind of felt like it was, if I want to see my family, I'm gonna see my family. And you know, I'll make sure I'm careful though. I hope that's what he's doing, you know, and again,
I think for me, it's not so much about you, it's everybody else that's the concern, because everyone else doesn't have the same level of responsibility and care and tactfulness that you do. So it's not that you can't go see your aunt because we're worried about you. We don't know where your aunt's been, and we don't know how your aunt is, and that's the concern. It's everybody else. That's just like driving. That's just like my mom saying, you know what, I'm not worried about you driving. I'm worried about everybody else. And
everybody else. You gotta drive for yourself and others. Absolutely.
Right.
So in that, there's the piece. In that, George Hill definitely has to drive for himself and others. He has to understand that, hey, you been cool. You ain't been going nowhere.
Who gonna really honestly be like, I ain't been to the strip club.
Like my auntie, like if I want to go see my auntie, you been to the strip club? Where you been? You know what I'm saying? So I can come give you a hug real quick. I miss you. Like I don't see necessarily. I get it. You can wait until the season is over for that, but at the same time, as much as, and again, me, David, I agree with everything that you said. But me playing devil's advocate is more like, bro, he can go see auntie real quick. Like, now, as long as it's not, again, wear your mask, stay 6 feet away, whatever the case may be, and that way you ain't getting into no stuff.
Well, okay.
The problem is these jokers be out here with no mask.
And that's
like reckless.
So now, like when you saw, I don't know if you've seen it, you know, Kyrie's been absent with the net. I absolutely love who Kyrie is, because he doesn't care. He
got zero.
Like, he does not give 2 flying fudge cakes what y'all think, what y'all print. If he don't want to go to work, he ain't gonna go to work. And and like seeing him pop out allegedly, this isn't confirmed, but his sister's birthday and his father's birthday was on the 12th. And they had pictures and video of him celebrating his sister's birthday at a club in Jersey. And I'm sure it was a closed off club. It wasn't like a party, but it looked like close friends and family. So when you think of things like that and what the NBA is trying to control, that's what gives me an example of what George Hill is saying. I'm going to do what I want to do. And Kyrie, we all know how important his sister and his father is. Like, his sister and father is it got to be next to Jesus almost. And it's just like, you know,
he don't believe in Jesus.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't think he don't believe in Jesus.
Well, that doesn't make
like he doesn't. Like he don't. You didn't hear him say on Christmas Day he don't celebrate Christmas. Like, that's not his thing. Like that. Like, yeah, that's not his thing. So
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. when the Joker ain't grounded right now.
It is very on brand.
Right. That's no shot at Kyrie for real, bro. Like I really, because again, you're entitled to believe in what you want to believe in. But as you say, like if it's my sister's birthday, now again, the NFL had the same problem, bro. We asked y'all asking players to miss like birthdays, y'all asking people to miss, celebrations. Y'all asking people to miss life. Now, mind you, there is a two-way street, like you said. Kyrie can absolutely opt out.
Yeah.
George Hill can absolutely opt out if you don't want to deal with the rules and regulations. Yeah. But who gonna leave that kind of money on the table? You know what I'm saying? Like there's people out here with no jobs.
Yeah.
Like grinding. I ain't got no job right now. My season in the G League was terminated. You know what I'm saying? So we and my team decided to merge with another team and go down to the bubble. I think it's in Atlanta or Florida, wherever they're going, which left me without a job right now.
Yeah.
But you got a guy like Kyrie that's making millions upon millions, and they don't take it as seriously. But I will say this: I can't fault them for wanting to be there for his sister on her birthday. I can't fault them, but there is a sense of responsibility that says, hey, listen, all right, sis, I love you to death. Like, with this season going on, with all this stuff going on, I ain't going to be able to make it this year. We'll celebrate after the season. But again, there comes a sense of responsibility in that. And dealing with grown men, you would expect them to kind of be that. But at the end of the day, I think the NBA can put different things in play, but again, all of that affects the bottom line, and that money is about the money. That's why they're not in a bubble, because it's about the money. But if they don't feel like fans gonna be able to come to the game no time soon, then they definitely need to go back to a bubble.
Kyrie is just everything. So Kyrie is not expected to play against the Nets
right
tonight.
He played for the Nets. But who he playing against?
The Knicks, my bad. He's not expecting. Well, look, he might not be playing for them either. But Kyrie is not playing against the Knicks tonight. But what's even funnier, like I just Googled Kyrie's name. This fool was spotted on the DA's candidate Zoom call last night.
The who?
A DA candidate. He was instead of playing for the Nets on Tuesday, Brooklyn star Kyrie Irving took part in a video call launch party for a Democratic candidate for Manhattan District Attorney. And look, you gotta look at his picture though. No, you gotta
zero jumps given.
Look at him. Look.
That's the epitome of zero jumps given. Hey, my man Kyrie said, man, I ain't worried about what y'all talking about, man. I'm gonna go over here and support this Democrat that's gonna be running. Hey, I ain't mad at him, man. Listen, I definitely think the NBA needs to put some and again, they have enhanced their protocols, but I think when it all boils down to it, it is a responsibility on the players to kind of take this seriously. And players who've had it, like Nasir Little's, that the case has been very dramatic, and then you've had players that had it that it wasn't that serious for, or you had a guy like Karl Anthony Towns who lost 7-8 family members to it. You know what I'm saying? So there's two different ends of the spectrum, and where I feel like people are looking at this disease, and unfortunately, like it has run, it has torn a hole in this world, especially financially for families and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, again, I hope we come together and something comes of it. I believe in Jesus' name, so I just pray that he got something better for us on the other side. But at the end of the day, again, it will take the players being a lot more responsible for their actions than what they're doing.
And we're gonna wrap it up after this, but I just want to say I can only imagine what is it's like for players like a Karl Anthony Towns to hear players react like this. Like that's gotta hurt to some degree. Like people have really lost loved ones, and then to hear your colleagues just have no regard for it, and to think it's just simple. It has to hurt.
And again, this is me playing devil's advocate. It hits differently when it affects you versus somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like it hits different. Like Joker's still texting and driving.
Yeah.
Like there's a danger to it. But you ain't gonna stop texting and driving until something dramatic happens. You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
Like as I say that, like it's not to necessarily put fear out there, but it also like gives the perspective of understanding, okay, this affects me this way because I've lived through this and this is my perception of it.
Yeah.
Like I saw a picture today of two people looking at the number 6. One was looking at it and there was a 6. One was looking at it and it was a 9. And it was saying just because you're right doesn't mean the other person is wrong.
Yeah.
It's just about perspective. And so when you look at it that way, again, George Hill, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, they can act this way because it hasn't affected them the way that it has affected a Karl Anthony Towns or Nasir Little as far as the seriousness of the actual COVID virus. So, you know, again, I hope they can come to a common ground as far as the NBA and the games are concerned, and they can continue to kind of get through this season. Again, I don't know if 70 games, I never thought 70 games was possible, but at the end of the day, it could be, you know, we'll see what happens. I think they should go back to a bubble, but we'll see.
All right. That's it. That's a wrap.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us for another edition of The Player and the Fan. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors, our Lamar Clothing.
Yes.
You know, we ain't got on no clothing right now.
Not a bit.
Lamar said he got another package coming for us.
I'm excited.
So I'm ready. I'm ready to see. I'm excited what Lamar got for us. Y'all follow him at all Lamar Clothing on Instagram. I don't know if he got a Twitter, but definitely on Instagram. And then also
Vito with My Canvas on tees.
My Canvas.
On tees. I will put all their information down below. It'll be up here somewhere. But yeah, you'll definitely get all their information. So please go and support them, whether it's buying a mug, buying a t-shirt, buying a bracelet, buying whatever. Please do so. They're really great people, great brands, Black-owned businesses. So yeah.
Right. And y'all know how we do it. Yeah, go support Black-owned businesses. We holla.